It's a simple equation, 9 games tonight, and the USA would need 9 wins to win this year's Weber Cup. They got the first one though, Carl Troop beating Stuart Williams in our first game of our final session of this year's tournament here in Manchester. What about the second? Well, let's join Cass Edwards and Wayne Boyce.
So the fourth meeting of the weekend in singles between Don Barrett, the European captain, and big Wes Malott. So far, Barrett is leading by 2 wins to 1. Well, Carl Troop, Cass, has led the way with that victory over Stu Williams.
Yeah, absolutely did the business, didn't he, with a score of 255, a massive game. But he has bowled some big games this weekend. And Stu Williams was really up against it from the start. But again, it is only going to be one game, and that's all it's going to take for the Europeans to retain the Weber Cup.
Chance for the captain then to see it out. Great respect between these two fantastic players. And that's the kind of form that Barrett has been in this weekend. Picked up 5 points, 3 in the singles, 2 of those against Malott, 29 strikes, 58% strike rate.
But the score average is the impressive one, 244.
Second chance then for Europe to wrap up this record 9th Weber Cup win and 4th in a row, and that's the best possible start.
Yes, Dom looks very relaxed, and this strike was very nice. He's this is the second game on the 39-foot pattern. 3 times as much all in the centre of the lane than there is on the outside, so there's room for area for bowlers to bring the ball back from the outside boards, which Dominic did. Scores 30 straight away. Instantly puts pressure on the big nasty. Can he respond? Oh, yes, he can. How about that? Great reply. The scores go all square after 1. As you can see, using the full width of the lane. It's a little bit light in the pocket. Gets a nice little kick on that 4-pin right at the end there to carry all 10.
Barrett looking for a double. And leaves the split.
And leaves the 2-8-10. Oh dear. That's been left by a ball that didn't quite get up to the head pin, but was going forward rather than sideways. Snagged up in some lane oil. It's just made the head pin, broken nothing up at all. The 2 and the 8-pin sleeper there on the left and the 10-pin on the right. This is more than likely to be an open frame.
Cass, how many, in your view, would the Americans have to win before the Europeans start thinking, hold on a minute? I mean, that's a shocker there from Don Barrett. Open frame.
Well, it's not the end of the world. It's only the frame 2. He'll put it behind him. I would suggest that probably 5 or 6 before they start panicking. So it's still a big ask.
Yeah, very big margin for error for the European team. Isn't it amazing how often that last point proves the most elusive?
Difficult to get, yes. Well, it would have been a rather lucky strike had it gone. The first shot went straight through the face of the number 1 pin, nowhere near the pocket, and Wes is pretty fortunate just to pick up a single pin left. It's a 10-pin in the corner, and a spare here will give him 19 pins. Cuts it fine, but it hit the pin, so that's good enough.
12-pin lead, just 2 frames in though, plenty of time. Barrett to try and turn this around.
Yeah, Dom is, along with Jesper, probably one of the hottest properties in the world of bowling at this particular time. Former PBA world champion.
Well, you could see the movement on the ball, it was far too early.
Yeah, it kind of looks as though the speed is down a little bit. It did break very early, but just to say again, there's only 39 feet of oil, so there's 21 feet of back end and that ball is just taken off early. So it may well be that Dom needs to possibly change his ball or up his speed just a little bit.
Take them away. Well, we saw Parker Bone, the third cast, really studying the oil patterns before making his decision.
Well, it's the shortest pattern, the shortest length of ball that we've had for the whole tournament. It may well be a radical move that Parker thinks, well, all or nothing perhaps.
Well, at the moment, it's going pretty well for them, with Troop's victory and Malott with the edge so far here. And that continues.
Yeah, strike opens the lead to 24 pins. And that's just after 3 frames. A bit light in the pocket, hits them thin, kind of makes them spin, but that's good enough for me.
Looks like he's just asked for another ball, actually, Cass, from his teammate Carl Troop.
Well, welcome back, Dom. Definitely upped his speed on that shot. Gave it a bit more room and carried all 10. Yeah, there's a possible ball change coming up here for Wes. Maybe he's not very happy with the 2 strikes and the spare that he's got. Maybe he can see some variance in the lane. The oar's perhaps moving around a bit. He's not getting the right reaction down the back end, but to me, he looks pretty fine so far. And that's gone wide. Look at that. Now that got out to the outside boards where there is some more, and it just stayed there, didn't it? Didn't think at all about coming left and getting back to the head pin. This is an absolute errant shot. Gets some fingers involved, but it just goes too far. Look, almost touches the gutter shot. Fortunate 7, which is a makeable spare.
The ball accompanied with a cry of "oh my gosh" from Wes Malott.
Yeah, you don't see the head pin missed very often by bowlers of this calibre. Takes away the spare, which gives him 17.
But the lead, just 11, despite that open frame from Barrett in the second.
Yeah, a chance to get back here in the 5th frame.
Strikes each so far. No, he knew it was going away again, Barrett. And he's struggling to find his range at the moment, just 2 from 5.
Yeah, he needs a little bit of redirection of the radar, doesn't he? Just not making that pocket on a regular basis. So now what we've got. No, it's a bit of tape going to go in one of the thumb holes on one of the balls that he's using. All these players, when they go off to major international tournaments, will always carry between 4 and 6 bowling balls each. It's just a bit of tape going in his thumb. It's got to fit inside that thumb hole nicely, just to tighten the feel of the thumb up as it goes in the ball, and it's an aid when the thumb comes out of the ball as well. It's nice and tight. So he takes away the spare, which is worth 18. Takes him through the 100 barrier.
Malott, though, can up the pressure again if he can strike all 10. I've got to credit the Americans, Cass. They just will not go away. Even though it seems, on paper, done and dusted, they are making as big a fight of it as they possibly can.
I would suggest at the moment it's Europe that are giving it to them rather than the Americans taking it. And that we call the Big Four, and you can see why. It's the 4 6 pins with the 7 and the 10, 2 on the left, 2 on the right, caused by his ball going straight through the middle of the number 1 pin in the middle, breaking nothing up. It's called a big split, and more than likely will be an open frame.
The big Wes can't take the Big Four. And Cass, it all seems to have gone a bit wrong since he sent Carl Troop off for the other ball.
Well, he knows what he wants, and the lead is reduced just to 1 at the halfway stage, so it's all to play for Dom.
Almost a fresh game now.
Well, it is, yeah. It's from a 10-frame game, it's going to turn into a 5-frame game.
Well, there's how we stand. All sorts of numbers up on the board at the moment.
Yeah, it's a little bit messy, isn't it? But time to start here for Dom.
And he does. Well, with Wes Malott beginning to struggle, perhaps the perfect time for Dom Barrett to return with his 3rd strike of the game.
Not quite sure if that was a change of ball or not. I didn't. Can't remember what he was throwing on that previous frame, but that one certainly worked. He got some distance down the lane and got a reaction in the back end and was nice at the pocket. In it went.
Well, gardening tools are out again, Cass, for Wes Malott. He seems to do that more than any of the other players.
Well, he's putting some tape in his thumb in another ball. It definitely was a change of ball for Barrett, and it reacted and it scored well. Wes Malott is doing exactly the same thing here. Does that mean he's getting desperate or worried?
Seven spare, and an open frame is followed by a strike for Wes Malott,
who retains that 1-pin lead. So it's going to become a bit of a strike feast now. It's maybe who is not going to strike could end up being the loser.
It's amazing how reactive these players are off each other, isn't it? One gets a strike, the other one gets a strike, and
well, Wayne, all the time they're watching one another's ball to see how it reacts and where they're throwing it on the lane. And that looks just fantastic, doesn't it? 2 strikes in a row for Dom Barrett, the European captain.
Big puff, it's getting close.
Well, that's right, but Wes Malott has got to do exactly the same thing. Perfect strike from Dom Barrett, the European captain. 2 in a row, great ball change. And Wes has to respond. So the man under pressure is actually Big Wes.
Lovely shot. Under big pressure.
It remains just 1 pin. Both players have bowled 2 strikes in a row here in the last couple of frames. It's real head-to-head stuff. Pressure on both players.
Who's it worse for, Cass? The players up there or the players sat in the stands who could do nothing about it?
Or the guys in the commentary box. I would think probably the guys that are actually up on the lane. Three strikes in a row for the European captain. Great bowling, Dom Barrett. Another 30 pins. I mean, he really is putting pressure here on Wes Malott. A little bit late on the 10 pin, that doesn't matter. He's very happy with that. And it's looking pretty cool, isn't he?
Yes.
And bowling very well.
Took a while to get going this game. As it ebbed and flowed and both players were a bit up and down, trying to find their line, but 3 in a row for Barrett. Malott looking to follow suit and hold that 1 point advantage.
I was going to say he has to follow suit, and unfortunately he's left a 4 pin standing, so this could be a 9 spare, and instead of 30 pins it will be 19.
And that was Wes Malott, who was on the end of a defeat to Stu Williams. That was the final point, the final nail in the coffin for the USA in last year's Weber Cup, and Wes Malott's in danger of history repeating itself. Yeah, this time against Dom Barrett.
I was going to say, there's a bit more gardening work going on here, the bowling ball, and that's another piece of tape going in, yet another bowling ball. Okay, so it's only a spare, but that thumb has got to be so snug in the thumb hole, otherwise all sorts of things can happen. It just doesn't come off correctly. Hard and fast, takes the spare away, but it's only 19 pins. And Don Barrett steps up in frame 9 with a 10-pin lead, working on 3 strikes in a row.
Well, we've seen so many times, Cass, in the Weber Cup this year with this scoring system. 10 points doesn't count for a whole lot. Has to hold it together.
Well, a strike here, and Wes Malott is under severe pressure.
If he doesn't strike, though, he's back in.
It's frame 9, working on 3 strikes in a row, looking for a 4th.
Doesn't get it.
Just the wobbler. That 6-pin stands and wobbles, but it doesn't go. It wasn't the greatest shot in the world, and he knows that. It gets a little nudge, doesn't it? But it's not going to go over.
Well, of course, if he takes this one away and then Wes Malott strikes, the American leads by a pin. That moment has now arrived.
And he knows it. It's a unique scoring system. He's smothering rosin powder all over his fingers and his thumb. It's frame 9 and a strike to take the lead. As you say, Wayne, by just 1 pin. And then we'll have a 10th frame shootout.
I remember
possibly for the Weber Cup.
Don Barrett lost by 1 pin to Kyle Troop in the very first match of the day. Potentially facing that again. Oh! Well, it's not the strike, but he was fortunate not to leave a split.
Oh, lucky man. Almost a 4-9 split. Big powerful ball, it's high on the headpin. There's the 4-9 split, and the 9-pin goes. He gets a kick in the rear end.
Just the outside edge.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Well, Barrett maintains his 10-pin lead, and he walks up here to bowl for the Weber Cup. If he takes all 10, Cass, that is it. History is made.
Has to be 10 to secure it.
So here we go. You can hear a pin drop. Europe's captain to win the Weber Cup. And he does it! The history makers. It's 4 in a row for Europe. It is 9 for Europe. And for the first time in the history of this wonderful bowling competition, Europe lead the series against the USA. What a magnificent shot, Cass.
242 pins, a real captain's innings, and he takes the Weber Cup for the 4th year in a row. Well played, Team Europe.
The winning moment from the captain, Don Barrett. It was in the balance right the way until the 10th frame, but that is what captains are for. And Don Barrett can celebrate again, as can Martin Larsson. He remains unbeaten. A 5th appearance at the Weber Cup and a 5th win for Larsson. And a big embrace you could see there, which was nice, between Stu Williams and Kyle Troop. But the celebrations are for Europe. They are Weber Cup champions again. Well, Cass, a wonderful victory.
Absolutely, yes, and what a celebration.
Well, tough to take for the United States.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, how about a big round of applause for Team USA, Wes Malott, Marshall Kent, Kyle Troop, and our team captain, Parker Bowen III. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your 2016 Party Poker Weber Cup champions, Team Europe, Martin Larsson, Stuart Williams, Jesper Svensson, and our captain, Don Barrett. And presenting the Weber Cup this evening is Matchroom Sport Media Director, Mr. Luke Riches.
Well done, Team Europe. Loving the celebrations. The Americans couldn't quite make that miracle happen. Stu thinks about throwing the trophy, and Jesper Svensson, the man of the tournament. Don't drop it, Jesper. What a performance from the Europeans. They've dominated right from the opening night, and they've now managed to close it out and win the trophy early on this Sunday night as well. So rare that it happens that at the start of the Weber Cup final session you managed to wrap it up. But let's have a chat with the... Give them a round of applause one more time, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a chat to the European team captain. How does it feel, Dom, to be a history maker?
Well, we don't even quite look at it that way. I don't know. Obviously, we have 4 in a row. We're finally in the lead as Europe. And, you know, it feels great. It was... we had a great weekend, we really did. It was on the very first night, we were on the front foot, we put them in a big hole early, and we never let them out of it. That was really key.
The last point was almost the hardest to get, wasn't it? That was a nervy final game, but you managed to bring it home for your team.
Yeah, and that's really the word you should use, team. I mean, we have some great bowlers here. Obviously, Jesper making his debut. I think he went in and just destroyed this lane, absolutely murdered it, and he bowled fantastic. Stu is sort of the backbone of the team. He goes and gets everybody together and just winds the crowd up, winds up the Americans. That's whatever he does, and it's fantastic. And we have Lucky Larson here. Probably struggled out of everybody on the team, but even last night when, you know, that was a big game, that last game, when he bowled that 289, and that was a fantastic game for us going into today. And the crowd here in Manchester have been fantastic as always. We've got all the blue. And I kind of say it every year, it's a little bit unfair for the Americans coming over here every time and having to deal with, you know, 500 people and 4 bowlers. So it's not really just us, it's everybody. And I'd like to thank Matchroom and Party Poker and Sky Sports for supporting bowling, and I can't wait to be back next year.
OK, well, listen, many congratulations to Team Europe, and we will have plenty more reaction coming up after the break as Europe make history. They win 4 Weber Cups in a row, and they have retained the trophy.